Detroit is directed by Catherine Bigelow, who also directed The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, and it stars John Boyega, Anthony Mackie, Will Poulter, and Algie Smith.
Yes, and this movie takes place during the heart of the civil rights movement in 1967 during Detroit riots, and it focuses on the Algiers motel incident where 12 people are practically being held hostage by policemen while also being brutally beaten during an interrogation where murders occur. And I gotta say, guys, this movie had me floored from about the 30-minute mark to about the finish.
The first thing I want to bring up is the directing. The director, like I said, Catherine Bigelow, she directed some Academy Award winning and nominated movies in the past. And this one, I can almost guarantee that it is going to be at least nominated in the upcoming Oscars because it is just a well put together movie.
And what really shows this director's talent is the acting, because even though the acting is really portrayed by them, it really has a lot to do with the direction, and also just the acting is just fantastic. John Boyega is really good in this movie. I don't really see him in much, obviously. We've seen him in Star Wars, but other than that, I haven't really seen him in anything. And then also, Will Poulter. I have seen him in maybe 1 or 2 movies, and I didn't really get the sense of what kind of actor he actually was in the past. But for this movie, he was great. I hate him because of this movie. It's going to take me a little bit to actually look at him and not get mad because of how well he portrayed this racist and horrible character.
Yeah, the acting was definitely one of the highlights of this movie, and like Marquez said, John Boyega, the only thing I've really seen him in is Star Wars, where he was pretty much the comedic relief of that movie. And then this one, he plays a much more serious role, and it really shows his acting range. And then there's even a surprise appearance from John Krasinski from The Office in this movie towards the end. And he actually did pretty great as well. And one big thing that this movie does well is that they actually make the audience truly feel for these characters. They even have like a whole beginning part where they just build up each of these characters and make us truly understand who these characters are. So that whenever the main part of the movie happens, you actually feel a sense of suspense for these characters.
And then the entire second act of this movie, which lasts about 30 minutes, probably even more, it just had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. My heart was just pounding and pounding because I was just so fearful. I actually felt fear because of these characters and how well the acting was going and the music that was playing. I felt such a great sense of fear during this entire second act. And another thing about this movie, it does not sugarcoat things. This movie is brutal. This movie really just had me, like I said, sitting on the edge of my seat, and it's hard to think of more words to say about this movie without it just being repetitive because of how much this movie just brings you into the story. And then saying all this, unfortunately, it's a true story, so everything that I see, all this brutalness, all of this horrible things that are happening actually happened to innocent people that didn't deserve 1 ounce of it. It happened to them, and probably even more than we saw in this movie. And so it's just so horrible to just look at this and realize that these things happen to real people. Another point I really want to bring up is the cinematography of this movie was very well done. It really made us feel the suspense, and it really made us see the uncontrollable issue that was happening here, and we really got to feel the atmosphere of this movie because there's a whole bunch of like shaky cam and zooming in and zooming out, and it really kind of made me feel more into the movie.
And on the flip side of that, I honestly feel like the cinematography was sort of the weak point of the movie because I know that shaky cam is used a lot in a lot of movies, but I felt like the way they did it, they sort of overdid it at times, especially the zooming in and out of people's faces. It sort of got distracting at times. And then another issue that I had with it was I feel like it could have been edited maybe just a little bit better because towards the end it did get a little lengthy. The movie's a little over 2.5 hours. I feel like they could have edited some scenes out to make it a little bit shorter because it did feel like it drug on just a tad bit at the end, but not too much.
Well guys, I would highly recommend anybody going to see this movie. It's a really beautiful movie that just shows the brutal history of this time period. So I'm going to go ahead and give Detroit an A+.
Yeah, guys, this movie is definitely an emotional ride, so if you go see it, make sure to be buckled up because it's definitely a roller coaster. So I'm gonna give Detroit an A.
Well guys, don't forget to like and share. Also, if you like this video, we have tons more like it, so you might want to consider clicking this button right here to subscribe.
And comment below, let us know what you thought of the movie Detroit, and also let us know what your favorite Kathryn Bigelow movie is.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later.